Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. We're now happy to be joined from SECCountry.com, the main beat writer that I follow, at least, for Kentucky's basketball news, Kyle Tucker. Kyle, how are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, we're glad to have you. Now, the Cats got the big win Tuesday against Vandy. Before we get to the game tomorrow, how surprised were you? Had you given up like we all had on the ending of that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it wasn't just down 14 with 15 minutes to go. It was down 9 with 7 minutes to go. It was down 5 with 40 seconds to go. I did not see that coming. I didn't see the way it happened coming. Poor Riley LaChance. I mentioned today he's 35 of 38 on free throws this season against teams that are not Kentucky. He's now missed 4 in the final minute. That was wild.
Yeah, and he missed. So I think he's like 1 for 6 against Kentucky throughout the whole thing. It's crazy that he has that mental block. If they played in the SEC tournament and he went to the free throw line with 30 seconds, would you bet on him missing it again?
Well, yeah, I said if he comes to the line against Kentucky in the SEC tournament, I want to put all the money I have on him missing. He played great too. He played really well in that game, and then just blew it at the end.
All right, so now they get ready for Missouri tomorrow. I sort of feel like this team is basically every game's a new season, and you have no idea what's going to happen. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think anything really could happen the rest of the way. I mean, they've got some really tough road games, and this is kind of the least of them, and yet could easily sneak up and get them. They've got at Missouri, they've got at Arkansas, at Florida, at Auburn. Those are going to be games that, for all the excitement that kind of built up from these last couple of games, I think people realize that they have issues that got them in those deep holes, and those issues could easily bite them as early as Saturday.
You wrote earlier this week about Quade Green. He got the winning shot. But he's also kind of been a little bit of a forgotten player with Kentucky after his injury. Yeah. But he made some big plays the other night.
Yeah, and I think it says a lot about the kid. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sort of overtook him. He became the starting point guard. He became the star in many ways until Kevin Knox reemerged as the star at West Virginia on a night where Shai has 30 points against Vanderbilt. It's Quade who comes off the bench, and he has not only the game winner, but the play when they're down 3 and LaChance misses the free throw. He goes straight down the court, no hesitation, doesn't waste time trying to get a bad 3, gets a quick 2, and that keeps that game extended. Played really well. He's a guy who's really clutch. He's a guy I think that they really missed, and people didn't realize how much they missed him while he was out. They lost 2 games while he was out. He's going to make free throws at the end. He and Shai both are going to be guys that are not rattled at the end of big games, and it's one of the reasons for all their warts. Those 2 point guards are among the reasons that I kind of feel like they could still pull this thing together and they could do something special in March.
It's interesting you say that because I think this team can still do something in March too. I also think they could lose in the first round, but I think they could make a Final Four because they have so many different guys who can play on a given night. They're not really dependent on one. You sound like you agree.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I plan to write about here in the next couple of days is, the whole conversation about this team, right? Well, there's been many, but the big one is they don't have John Wall. They don't have Anthony Davis. They don't have Karl Towns. They don't even have Tyler Ulis, right? One guy who will always take it over. But I am sort of leaning towards thinking, a lot of times teams that rely on that one guy, if he has a bad night, they're done, and it's a one-and-done tournament. And we, how often have we seen the best team? And sometimes it's Kentucky. More often than not, it's been Kentucky. The best team doesn't win because if you're leaning on one guy all the time, that guy's going to have a bad night. What we've seen from them is they've survived games, or even games they've lost, been in them at the end when 1 or 2 or even 3 different guys didn't play well because they have so many weapons.
Kyle Tucker, SECCountry.com. Thank you very much for being on here. And do they beat Missouri tomorrow?
Oof. Yes, I think they do.
I think they do, but we know it's going to come down the last 2 minutes no matter what.
Right.